You're watching The Week Ahead with Dukascopy TV. I'm joined by Rob Price from ETM Analytics to see what he will be watching in the economic calendar this week. Hello, Rob. The Bank of England rate decision is on Thursday, with minutes out next week. What do you expect to happen?
Just with regards to the bias of the BOE at the moment, it's quite an interesting one. Because, the UK economy has been cyclically outperforming a number of European economies, which led some investors to price hikes into the BOE outlook over the coming months. But we've seen those scale back, so that's what we're looking for again in the minutes, is to see the dovish to more central members of the MPC speaking their voice and trying to outweigh the two hawks that have been voting in favor of hikes for the last two meetings.
With strength last week, how will US economic data affect the US dollar over the coming week?
I think that the two important events for the US this week are, yes, the PMI data today on Monday, and the US non-farm payrolls data on Friday, which is normally even more important than the PMI data. And clearly the trends remain intact in terms of global economic growth at the moment, that the US has been outperforming in terms of its growth relative to its peers. And the risk is that we see that trend continue in the coming week, because this has been very dollar supportive. Investors pricing in a more hawkish, higher rate outlook from the US Federal Reserve. So the risk going into the current week is we see that trend continue, more dollar strength, and the dollar strength has been a massive driver of global asset market direction over recent months, and that could continue into the new week.
What do you think will be a big market mover next week?
The one aspect that we haven't spoken about is the ECB rate decision. That's going to be quite closely watched in the coming week. Investors are pricing in the risk that the ECB does more to stimulate economic growth and inflation in the region. The risk at the moment remains that what they've done over the last few months, while quite drastic and surprising, still won't be enough to actually create inflation. I think it's important for investors to look at the impact of quantitative easing in a number of other economies around the world, and it's not really producing the desired results. Both in the UK and the US and Japan, they're actually all struggling with disinflation at the moment. So, even if the ECB is to ramp up its quantitative easing program, although it's not calling it quantitative easing, but essentially it's a very similar program where they're expanding their balance sheet to try and increase inflation. I'm skeptical whether they'll be able to produce the desired inflation over the coming months and quarters.
Are there any currency pairs our viewers should watch out for?
Yes, so the major one at the moment is the dollar yen. It is in everybody's eyesight at the moment, but it remains a very important one in the coming week. We saw the BOJ come out on Friday with a call to increase it decided to increase its asset purchase facility. At the same time, the government employees pension fund in Japan, which is one of the biggest asset managers in the world, has decided to rotate its asset allocation more towards offshore allocation, also away from domestic bonds. So it's a strong signal of the Japanese authorities to try and increase inflation, devalue their domestic currency to try and create that inflation, and it's had a strong impact on the dollar yen already, and we could see that continue. We've seen the dollar yen break through some key technical levels of prior resistance from last month in the 110 yen per dollar region, and that could continue. It really is quite a significant breakout. We've got the pair now trading at a 6-year high. And over the coming months, we could target levels in the 120, 123 yen per dollar region, which would be a significant move, and it's already driving direction in global asset markets. Last week there was post the BOJ's decision, there was a large increase in risk appetite, but we didn't see much positivity on emerging market currencies and carry trade currencies because of the strength of dollar bidding interest, because of the movement on the dollar yen. So it remains a very important currency to have an eye on in the new week, and that's one we'll be watching closely.
Thank you for joining us, Rob. Keep an eye out for those market movers right here. Goodbye.